Alright, I'm back. So I ended up taking the longer break after all. Because I saw what time it was and I was like, you know what, if I just take the long break now, it's close enough to the 4 hour mark for my stream. Then I can just do another clean 2 hours and be done with the stream. Which is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, 2 hours from now will be about 10:30 p.m. And that's usually when I like to end streams so I can get ready for bed. So that'll be that. So let's get going, shall we? Let's see. This all set up? Yes. And all set. Alright. Continue, shall we? Phew. Hey Crimson, you there by any chance? Because I see that you're still in party. You're a chef right now. You're cooking. I don't know if you can hear me at the moment, but this is fine. Oh, it's the event one I think I wanted to change. Yeah, this is fine too. Party, alliance, people, teams, sure. Sure. NPC number. I could make one just for that. Well, this one kind of worked though. It's only for that one battle. Yeah. Anyway. Whatever, let's keep going. Lena, what's up? Something is obviously very wrong with poor Alma, and why her father doesn't seem to pay her condition much mind is something we should all be wary of. Yeah, he seems a little too confident about her. You won't believe this, but since our time together in the Clockwork City, Rams and I have grown inseparable. Why, I'd consider him a closer companion now than even my good brother Herdy. Just don't let Herdy know that, Coco. Your secret's safe with me, little buddy. Don't you worry. Ramza? Both Montblanc and his brother Herdy have proved invaluable to our expedition. I owe them my thanks. And, I suppose, an apology. I admit, when they first arrived, I was wary of their ability to contribute to the cause. However, over the past moons, they have done their damnedest to prove me wrong. I used to believe that we Garleans were inherently better than, well, everyone else. I suppose a part of me still does. It was what I was raised to believe. It is what all Garlean children are. Only now have I begun to realize the fool I was. Our exile here has forced me to face the arrogance that has controlled me my whole life. And what I found was that I was simply frightened. Frightened of change, frightened of admitting I was weak. And so I lashed out, and I'm sorry that you, Montblanc, Boggy, and the others had to suffer. That was quite a switch in your personality, though, very quick. I have no issue with Ramza's unexpected change of heart, just with how it actually came about. I fear it might be the R side playing with his heart, Kupo. Could be, yeah. I sensed the surge of ether at the precise moment he came in contact with the necklace, though that surge has since passed, Kupo. God damn it, keeps targeting those fools way in the back. There is no question that Evilise once stood atop the lands we now call Dalmasca, but with the passage of time have remnants of those eras past faded beyond recognition. If only the great library at Rabanastre still stood. My knowledge is limited, but if there's aught you wish to ask. Wow, that's a lot. What was the relation between Ramza and Delita? As I believe I explained before, the hero Ramza Beowulf and the pauper become King Delita Harel were the closest of companions throughout most of their adolescence. Ramza was the youngest son of House Beowulf, an old and respected bloodline of warriors. Delita was the son of farmers in service to the Beowulfs. Normally, one mightn't expect the paths of two with such different backgrounds to cross, but fate chose to intervene. When Delita's parents fall victim to a terrible plague, Ramza's father takes the orphaned boy and his sister into his home, and raises them as his own. Sensing greatness in young Delita, Barbaneth elects to enroll him in the Royal Military Academy with Ramza. I swear... See, that's the name I saw also when I looked it up, Barbaneth, but that was not the name in the localization that we saw of Tactics back in October, November, whenever it was. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. I'll have to look back at my own VODs. However, not but several moons before their graduation does great tragedy befall them both. Noble children from across the realm are being abducted by a radical faction of dissident knights and ransomed to their families. Amongst those kidnapped is Delita's only sister, Tietra, mistaken to be of high birth for her place at Barbaneth Bale's table. Yeah, her name was also different. I guess we can chalk it up to mistranslation, translation errors, you know. Because back in the PS1 days, there was a lot of that. Or at least so they thought. It turns out the whole affair is a plot set in motion by a petty noble by the name of Argath Adolphus. Yeah, that prick. Yes, the very course you encountered deep within the ruins of Nosalia. There's a new word. Course. You see, Argath and Delita were classmates at the academy, yet the former despised the latter, jealous of the base-born upstart who was always first in his class from swordplay to letters. He was jealous of Delita, huh? And so, Argath approaches the renegade knights and tells them of Ramza's sister. Only instead of describing Alma's features, he gives them Tietra's, that they might kidnap his true rival's kin. And they do. However, when the commander overseeing the rescue efforts of these noble children learns that it is not Alma, but Tietra they have taken, he abandons all attempts at peaceful exchange with the brigands, refusing to waste valuable resources on a mere commoner. Shit. Yeah, that's right. Ramza and Delita plead with the officer to reconsider, but the order to storm the knight's hideout and burn it to the ground are carried out with cold precision. The mission is a success, and the dissidents, including Argath, are slain to a man. But so too is poor Tietra. That horrific explosion that ends the first chapter of FF Tactics, yeah. And it looks like Delita dies with Tietra because he was so close to the explosion, but obviously he didn't. Having learned the true worth of his blood, Delita leaves both the academy and his friend Ramza behind to forge a new path. One that would ultimately lead to war. 5 summers will pass before the two meet again. And by then, Ramza's just a mercenary at that point. Because he was also disgusted with what his family did. And his brothers hate the fact that he just became a mercenary, but he's like, fuck him. What were his brothers' names again? Zalbag? That's it, I forgot the rest. Jesus. Of course I remember that name. After I made fun of it. Told you, I'm 5. What was the relation between Ramza and Orin? According to my ancestors' writings, Tietra's passing did not only serve to shape Delita, but Ramza as well. Ramza was possessed of 2 older brothers, both who had built reputations for themselves as fearless and cunning warriors worthy of the Bale's name. However, soon after the raid that sees Tietra slain, Ramza learns of his brother's involvement in the affair. That's right! One of them was like completely heartless towards Tietra. Which I think in the localization we saw, her name was actually just Tita, wasn't it? Or something like that. The shock upon realizing his own kin's disdain for the common man is too much to bear, and Ramza abandons his duty as son of House Bale, choosing instead to consign himself to a life of wayfaring. It's another way of saying mercenary, but yeah, sure. It is while serving a band of mercenaries that he meets Oran Durai. Oran, adoptive son of General Sidolphus Orlando, yes, Mr. Thunder God Sid, is tasked by his father to discover the identity of those truly behind the War of the Lions, though what he discovers will mark him for life. Orlando was long an enemy of House Bale's, but the general had always been a proponent of peace. On many an occasion did he attempt to stave the hands of conflict by providing resolution that would benefit both sides, only to find his efforts thwarted by a force unseen. Throughout all this, the Church maintained its neutrality, openly refusing to endorse either order. Yet this was little more than a facade. The truth was they silently wielded their influence over both sides, seeking to draw out the war that the armies might grow ever weaker. Yes, this is the exact plot of FF Tactics, yeah, to the letter. It is during this time the Church begins its search for the Zodiac Stones, or what we now know as Auracite. Their aim is to gain support of the war-weary small folk by dangling the promise of peace delivered by legendary warriors descended from the heavens, the Zodiac Braves. This is a nice recap of Final Fantasy Tactics. Now you see why I included it in the marathon, right? Oran Durai suspects the plot might bring great harm to the realm, but lacks the proof he requires to implicate the Church in any wrongdoing. When all hope is nearly lost, Oran encounters Ramza, already branded a heretic by the Church for his discovery of several of the clergy's inconvenient truths, and learns that together they might be able to make a difference, for Ramza holds a shard of Auracite. Threatened by Ramza's actions, but unable to successfully subdue the young man of his Auracite, the Church turns their attention to Sidolphus Orlando and condemns the general as they did Ramza, in a ploy to drive him from the kingdom. Yeah, and Ramza was acquiring all the Zodiac Stones and the Church was starting to freak out about it. This betrayal by the Church only serves to embolden Sidolphus, and it is not long before he joins Ramza and his son in their efforts to prevent the Auracite's blight from spreading further. So how did Ramza use the Auracite? While Delita waves his war for all to see, Ramza remained hidden, choosing to deal with the Lusavi from the shadows. Indeed he did. When the tiny fellowship was not hunting the horrors spawned by the Holy Stones, they were hounded by knights and brigands set upon them by the Church. aka random encounters. Some of them were scripted though. Yet despite this, Ramza oft found his thoughts returning to his old friend Delita, now an intelligencer with the Order of the Southern Sky. Delita had also not forgotten about his childhood companion, learning of both Ramza's troubles and the Church's scheming soon after joining the Order. Eventually, Delita found out what was happening between the Church and Ramza, yeah. He could not, however, come to Baal's aid. Harrell had proven himself a capable warrior and a charismatic leader, and was using this momentum to silently orchestrate a play for Ivalice's throne. If he were to openly oppose the Church, it would prove disastrous. Indeed it would. Politics, am I right? Ramza, though, had already been branded a heretic. Through Ramza, Delita might freely raise his sword against the Church without consequence to himself, as long as their allegiance remained unknown. Yeah, so he basically became convenient for Delita that he was friends with Ramza, who was opposing the Church, who Delita also wanted to overthrow, but couldn't do so openly yet. The time wasn't right. Now, one might view this as the future king simply using his companion to see his own desires to fruition, right? Why, even Orin himself opines on the matter in his papers. However, both Delita and Ramza were quick to recognize that as long as the blight engendered by the Auracite was allowed to spread unchecked, that true peace could never be realized. Their solution was ingenious. Delita took his place on the field of battle to bring an end to the War of the Lions, while Ramza took to the shadows to excise the otherworldly cankers that befouled the realm from within. It's genius, man. It's a great story. I'm getting chills just from this recap. It makes me want to go fucking play it or watch it again. Mostly watch it. I can't get into the battle system for tactics. So what was the Orban Monastery? The Durai papers tell us that the Orban Monastery overlooks a grand cataract on a river known as the Zyrkal. The building was allegedly ancient in Oran's time, with no record as to exactly when or by whom it was constructed. We do know, however, that the building had deep ties with the Atkasha dynasty, rulers at the time of the War of the Lions, and was oft used by the royal family to house prisoners, before finally being converted into a place of worship, a tradition that seemingly continued even after the conversion. Oren writes that Princess Ovelia Atkasha, the last rightful heir to the Evolution throne, was confined to the cloister for much of her young life before her eventual marriage to Delita. This is true. Agris was there to protect her too for a while. Her knight in shining armor. Yet, though the Cenobites at Orban were part of a contemplative order within the Church of Globados, they remained oddly exempt from the High Confessor's authority. Now, you may ask, if Orban was a monastery, then why was Ovelia, a girl, admitted? Well, it appears early scholars may have misinterpreted an important term. In ancient Evolution, the word for both monastery and convent are the same. However, seeing as Orban was inhabited not by monks, but by nuns, it would have been better suited had the word been rendered as abbey, which itself is more encompassing. I have to look that up now. In addition to their daily prayer, these nuns crafted ales and wines from ingredients grown on their land, and sold them to desert townships that lacked ready access to potable water. While the Durai papers indicated the monastery, or abbey, as Ramza's final destination before his disappearance, it does not state why his journey was to take him there. We know why. We know why. Yes, that's why. Considering that Oran actually accompanied Ramza on this quest, it is hard to believe that the chronicler would not know, leading me to believe there was reason for this omission, one that I believe will unlock this entire mystery. Indeed, because if he had revealed why they were there and all that, the plot for this particular storyline that we're doing right now would be ruined. So I won't even say it. What's the Golmore Jungle? This is a place from Final Fantasy XII, actually. The Golmore Jungle is an endless swath of pristine emeralds situated in the southeastern corner of Dalmasca on the Nanshan border. The hot and humid climes of the region have given rise to a nigh impenetrable expanse of towering sentinels and noisome bogs in which all manner of flora and fauna is allowed to flourish without the interference of man. Our very own Montblanc, however, claims that on his short trape, through the region, he stumbled across numerous ruins of unknown origin. From what we have learned from our own research and expeditions, I would surmise these sites are somehow connected to ancient Iblis. While it is true that the Durai papers make no mention of the jungles the likes of Golmore, more than 1,000 summers have passed since my ancestor penned this chronicle. Any number of things could have given rise to a marked change in the environment. Even one of your calamities, perhaps. Wow. And one cannot speak of Golmore without mention of its enigmatic inhabitants. As you know, the rainforest is also home to the Viera, self-proclaimed guardians of the wood. That's right. They were in, what was their little area in Golmore Jungle called? Their little town. The village of the Viera in FF12. I can't remember anymore. Though those who claim that title count themselves fewer with each coming spring, as more and more of the Leperin abandon their ancestral homes for the comforts of the cities. Excuse me. Yeah, even in FF12 that was a trend that was happening. A lot of Viera were starting to leave the village because they realized there was a much bigger world to look at, or to watch out there or something. Or to go out and see, basically, and broaden their horizons. We did those side quests in FF12, so we saw that. Still, many Viera continue their adherence to a strict code that has governed their people since ere the age of Iblis. None may enter their jungle, and none may leave. To the Viera, Golmore is sacred ground, and they will not suffer what they view as the desecration of their sovereign domain by outsiders. This is especially true for those who would dare hunt their lands. I would one day wish to see her ruins with mine own eyes, but without the consent of those who call the jungle home, I fear that day may never come. They're gonna sick a Rafflesia on us? The Rafflesia that attacked us when we were trying to leave with Fran? So who's the High Seraph? Very little is known of the High Seraph other than that it was she who created the Arsite and scattered its shards across Heidelberg. As for if the entity be angel or demon, well, that depends on which fairy tale you choose to believe. Though, after witnessing the terror of the Lusavi firsthand, it is difficult to imagine that one truly pure of heart would design something that might give rise to such evil. Yeah, exactly. That said, it appears the Arsite itself contains no evil. The stones merely serve as an amplifier of sorts for the desires of those who come into their possession. If that desire is one swollen fat with rage, one with dominance or revenge, then it is made manifest as a Lusavi. Such was the case with Argath and Bagandon. Conversely, if the wielder's intentions are just, then they are rewarded with what can only be described as miracles. Legend provides us with countless tales of the Zodiac Graves granting succor to those wounded, or even fallen in battle. Perhaps this is why history cannot decide on the alignment of the stone's creator. If the being truly hails from some other plane of existence, as Mikoto suggested, then we would be fools to think she might be beholden to the same values we hold dear. True. And it could cost us our life if we go in with that supposition. I sense that you are interested in the package Sid delivered. I have every intention to apprise you of its contents, but first I believe we should speak of Alma's condition. What's going on? Do you not find her illness all too timely? Genomis and Ramza would like to believe that her bouts of vertigo are not but a result of a mind fatigued, but the answer is clear. It is the Aurosite that plagues her, Alma recently confided in me that she would hear her father speaking with the Odious, well before even his first foray into Ravenastra. However, I do not think this entirely true, which is not to imply that Alma is trying to deceive us. Rather, I think she saw something that led her to believe her father was conversing with the Arcite. Moreover, I suspect it was the Arcite itself that granted her this vision. You recall my hypothesis on distinct frequency NRR-type harmonic vibrations and their tendency to promote ethereal amplification? Or when I mentioned that despite being in the principal's possession for an extended period, the Odious exhibited none of the imprinting present in Duma? No? Maybe? The Odious has never resonated with Genesis. It has always been his wife's pendant and its Arcite shard, the Virgo, that fueled his passion for Ivalice. No, the Odious is bound to Alma's deepest desires, whatever those may be, which has constantly, as we've seen, been to keep her family safe. Above everything else, she constantly worries over everyone, but she's a good person. The only reasons I can fathom that Alma has not fallen victim to the Arcite's grasp is that her desires are not as strong as those we have witnessed in Argath or Bagandon. That, and the ethereal interference caused by other nearby shards. I have explained all of this to Alma and recommended that she destroy the necklace, yet not only did she refuse, but she begged me to keep this revelation from her father. And so I did the only thing I could. I devised a means with which I might impede or at least lessen the effects of the Odious. This device, while still incomplete, will amplify the NRR wavelengths emitted by the Virgo. It should work to interfere with those emitted by the Odious, thereby shielding Alma from the brunt of their effect. Okay. The city below is all abuzz with word of a Banga brigand loitering about the airship landing. Do you think it could be someone we know, Kupo? Could be the one that sent a message to me through Sid, right? I've taken a piece of the Virgo and fitted it to my device. It may, however, still require some time to calibrate properly. Okay. I think that's what he already, Alright. They're not gonna change their dialogue. Not over that little scene. Let's go outside and meet this person. Come on, Alpha. Not blank. It was Boggy and his companions. Perhaps they know of the Orban Monastery. Sky pirates are bound to have traveled the whole of Dalmask on their many misdeeds. True, I guess. Apologies, Leon, but I needed to speak with you. And you alone. Oh, and don't mind me, Koopa. I'll just be floating over here in perfect earshot. Are you? What makes you think I won't lay you low right here, right now? Because we're here to offer you a proposition, that's what. We need information on the Goldmoor jungle and thought a man as well-traveled as you might be persuaded to provide some. Goldmoor? You of all creatures should know that this is a Viera land. What are you offering them? Why, the opportunity to tell us what you know. Genimus believed our next adventure lies beneath the jungle canopy, Koopa. I should have expected as much. Very well. Leon, I came to ask if you would meet someone. Now it seems that someone may be able to assist Genimus as well. Seeing as you and the principal did right by us before, I do not see a reason why I cannot take both of you. Okay, when's he gonna have us meet? That was far easier than I thought it would be, Kupo. Yeah, I thought he was gonna fucking squish you. Let me know when you are ready to depart for Ravenastra. We will travel in our airship. The Prima Vista would draw too much unwanted attention. Okay, let's go. The world map music for FF Tactics, here we go. Gonna show a little map and go back. Oh wait, that already happened during the Stormblood MSQ, right? Maybe that was a subtle reference to Tactics, but I don't think so. Oh. Back to a life of brigandry in the clouds, are we? Of course not. Not that it didn't cross our minds. But when faced with the decision of what to do next, we needed simply to remember the dying words of our leader. Ijuk, Renok, and I decided to re-enlist as Dalmascan Fusiliers. Ah, so they gave up the Sky Pirate life then. And the occupying Garleans actually said yes, Kupo? Not exactly. We're now with the Resistance. You no doubt heard of the uprising in Dalmasca that followed the Doman liberation, and how it was crushed under the iron heel of the 4th Legion. Yeah. I think they mentioned this just slightly later in MSQ, but for some reason they still don't actually require you to make progress in MSQ for you to unlock these raids. As I verified on the other version of this character, you can just do them now, right after finishing Stormblood. But they do mention this. The Resistance leaders were captured, tortured, and publicly executed. Yet much to the Empire's chagrin, the gruesome display only served to further rally the survivors. Of course. Remove 1 head and 2 grow back in its place. Remove 2 and then there are 4. A person can die, but an ideal will live on. Indeed. Now there exist several factions throughout Dalmasca. We belong to one known as Lent's Tears. Oh shit! Isn't that the one that Vaughn became a part of? Right? In FF12? And when we told our commanding officer of our recent crossing with you and yours, she simply insisted that we introduce you. But me? But I wasn't even supposed to be here, Kupo! You know he was talking to me. You got in the way because you want to be the center of attention. Not you, hairball. Him! Poor Montblanc, he just wants to feel special. Meet with the general and hear her proposal, Leon. If you are not interested, we shall return you to Kagane unharmed. You have our... Girl got your tongue? Rabanastra dead ahead, lads. I hope one day in the future we actually get to travel to Dalmasca and Rabanastra, like, put back to normal, you know? But if they ever do that for MSQ... Oh, hey, Aiden Lorcan! Welcome back. Or I guess... Oh, you're sipping tea, huh? Oh, I was gonna say... If they did that, though, they might end up making this a mandatory alliance raid, just like the Crystal Tower series. So that might muddy the waters, who knows. This way, with many moms to cover before nightfall. Still, I mean, eventually, after so many expansions, you'd think they would have to cover every corner of the world, right? Of Hydaelyn? I remember a lot of these things were made optional because they also were thinking they were... Is that who I think it is? I've done as asked. I bring you the Liberator. And here I thought he'd be taller. Again, what is with the height shit? Just under 6 feet, okay? Well, Leon is. I'm actually 6 feet. But still, what the fuck? I knew it! A Viera! Not just any Viera. I am Fran, proud daughter of Dalmasca and General of Lent's Tears. And yes, Moogle, I am a Viera. Are you surprised? Is Balthier here? Why yes, in fact, I am. Her kind are all supposed to be living amongst the trees, having shunned contact with the outer world, Kupo. There are supposedly a few who have left their homes, but I most certainly did not expect to see one here in this sewer. As beautiful as ever, I must say. She got the graphics update. Remember, PS2 days compared to this. It's an upgrade. Indeed. And look, she has the hairstyle, so they can make hair like that for Viera, but they won't. They can, but they won't let us. shit! I was like, I want that hairstyle. When I played through FF12, I mentioned this. I was like, I wish you could actually have Fran's hair in FF14 when we were playing through FF12. I said that numerous times. And yeah, it exists. But we can't have it. It's just for Fran. This Benga claims you seek Orban. Does he speak true? He does. Also, I like the camera angles here. Nice one, Square Enix. We see you. We see what you're doing. You know. Those ruins lie deep within the Golmore jungle, a place most sacred to my sisters. They would take great offense were you to defile it with your presence. What is more, Boggy tells me you travel with Garleans, openly aiding those who would see our nation burn. How can we place our trust in one who would do such? Both are true, but I feel like the second one is just kind of me boasting or something. Let me just tell her it is. The one I feel is better. Genomus and his family defected long ago. They are not your enemy. A Garlean is a Garlean. Their pathetic attempt at absolution only proves their past guilt. Damn. You misunderstand. Prime Genomus does not approve of the Emperor's warmongering. He wants to help Damaska and its impoverished masses, Koopa. They updated her fingers. Something most people probably don't remember or don't notice. FF12 Viera actually have very long fingers. Or at least the nails. Same with the toes. And here they change, you can't see them, but they changed, so her sandals are not open anymore, where you can see the, you know, her toes being like really long or whatever. And having those claw-like nails. And instead, the foot piece has like, it now covers the toes. With these metal things that kind of resemble the claws that used to be there. But yeah, Fran's finger length here is the same as the Viera from this game, which is not the same as 12, where their fingers were really long and bony, you know? Kind of like mine, but way longer. And what would a Moogle know about my people? Does your blood run Dalmascan red? We could cut you open and find out. She's getting more offended as we go on. This is not good. General, there is no need for threats. You are right, Boggy. Let us then parley. Parley? Parley. Didn't Balthier say that once? I feel like it did. Sky Pirate and all that. First, the Resistance requires men and women from the Eorzean and Eastern Alliances to join us in ridding Dalmasca of its Imperial invaders. Fair enough, so far. Your past deeds have made you well known to the leaders of both. They will listen to you, or if not, they will listen to these scions to which you claim allegiance. You've done your homework. Second, the Resistance requires gold. Gold to strengthen our forces from within. Your allies are in bed with the East Aldenar Trading Company, which continues its dealings with Garlemald even as you raise your sword against them, profiting from the Empire's rampant aggression. I'm not surprised, yeah, I know, that would be... Yeah, Lolorito's a complete capitalist, yes. I'm not surprised at all. As targets of that aggression, I believe my people are entitled to a portion of those profits. Oof. It's gonna be difficult to convince Lolorito of that, but... see what I can do. Grant me these simple things, and I shall personally guide you safely to the ruins of Orban. And what of the Lexentales? See me to victory, and I'll take the Emperor himself. Holy shit. Those are my conditions. What say you? She's supposed to have red eyes. It's hard to make that eye color in this game. Did you notice they were more like violet? I will deliver your request to the Scions, but can promise no more. Promise me first my companions will see no harm. I want to say both. This is another one of those where I want to say both of these, but... I'll deliver your request to the Scions, but I can't promise anymore. I don't control that greedy little shit Lolorito. Tell them my demands, but know the fate of your expedition hangs on how well you do so. Alright, you drive a hard bargain, friend, but I'll do what I can. I'd say we have our work cut out for us, Kupo. Foggy, you and the Fusiliers are to accompany the Liberator. I expect a detailed report on how my demands are received. Yes, General. The Garamseth Waterway. Exactly as we remember it. No, it's a lot bigger, but I mean the shape of the structure and everything. The patterns on the floor. Not that I expect them to be taken seriously. You were a fool to trust them, Princess. So she was speaking on behalf of... On behalf of Ashelia, who's not actually dead, right? She faked her death again, just like an FF12. Good on her. See, that's a little bit of something that only FF12 fans would uncover there. That Ashelia is not dead. If you didn't play that game, you wouldn't know. You'd be like, wait, Princess? If you're smart enough, sure. I guess you could put it together. But if you're an FF12 fan, or if you played it recently like we did, then you'll know that's exactly who she's referring to. Because that's what happens in that game. She fakes her death. Not willingly, though. She just takes advantage of the fact that people thought she died. But anyway. Do not be put off by Lady Fran. The General has quite the edge to her, but it is only because she wants what is best for the Resistance. I know what she's like. She was also pretty hardcore in FF12. It's the same personality. Exactly the same. I finally come to accept Bagamnon is gone for good, but I will never forget how he met his end. I cannot allow my hatred to consume me as it did him. At least you're learning from his mistake. That's good. The General is not too bad once you're on her good side. Her only good side being her backside. But you didn't hear that from me. He might not have meant that, but I swear the fucking writers at Square Enix know what they were doing with that line. Talking about Fran, the General. Her only good side being her backside? Really? With the camera angles that we just had? What we saw where her backside looks like? You know what Square Enix was doing with that. And maybe Renok means it that way, maybe he doesn't, but you know Square Enix's writers did. They definitely meant that. I see you, Square Enix. What an adventure, Kupo. Just think, by tomorrow we could all be the newest members of the Dalmascan Resistance. Not that I'm ready to give up my place on the Prima Vista just yet. Sure, Mopane. Welcome to their jungle. Hurry, hurry! If I don't tell someone of our adventure quick, I'll positively burst, Kupo! Let me tell them, Leon. Let me, Kupo. There's no question that English was... Okay, so he didn't change what he said. You? I have no issue with Ramza's unexpected change of heart. Okay, same thing as before. You? Where have you been? In Ravenastra? With Monk? Why didn't you tell me? How am I supposed to report on something if I'm not there to see it? That's... Actually, it was probably better that you didn't come, because Fran would probably have ditched us. Or killed us. It's like she's trying to stay incognito, goddammit. This woman asks much of us. The Viera have ever been wary of outsiders. For centuries, their many tribes have remained hidden in the jungles, content with their self-imposed solitude. Each tribe has its own strict code and will meet swift punishment to any who would defy these laws. As such, many a Viera will spend her entire life bound to the territory of her ancestors, both unwilling and unable to venture beyond its borders. And while the tribes are wholly independent, they have agreed to uphold a single standard. Shun all contact with the outside world unless it is to protect the jungle. That said, with every generation, there are those Viera who long for a life beyond the verdant sea of trees and abandon their tribes to start a new life in the kingdom cities. My guess is that this Fran is one such individual. Yep, she did turn her back on her home. Who also happens to be the only individual we know who can guide us to the monastery, Kupo. I wonder if they changed the dialogue once Viera were released in the Shadowbringers, because for Mont Blanc to be so surprised to see Fran as a Viera, if your character's a Viera, kind of immersion breaking for the dialogue there, right? I forgot to mention this sooner when we were still talking to Fran, but... It seems Leon's sword arm won't be enough to see us through this predicament. He'll need to don the right mantle of a diplomat if we're to convince the alliances in the East Aldenar Trading Company to grant us aid. What could go wrong? Right. Yeah, I totally am used to diplomacy. Sure. She talking about diplomacy. I don't do diplomacy. I need a gun cocking sound for that one. That's it references, that was a reference to the Boondocks, of course. Yes, I know you said not to call unless it was urgent, but this is urgent. Alright, not exactly, but my superiors have come to a decision on your request, and I thought you might want to hear what they had to say. Better be good, Hancock, I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking stuff Lolorito into a fucking base if he doesn't agree to this. Oh, and let me preempt any request for immediate disclosure with a reminder that the information is much too sensitive to discuss over Link Pro. Meet me at the Ruby Bazaar post-haste, and I shall duly apprise you of their judgment. Don't screw us over, Lolorito, not now. Well then, Leon, what are we waiting for? Also, I like how the plotline actually corroborates something I said several streams ago about how arms dealers make out big when they're in wartime, you know? And if they could get away with it, why not sell to both sides, right? Selling weapons to both sides. Massive income. A trip to the Ruby Bazaar? Will there be refreshments? No? Well then count me out, Kupo. Oh, so you're only there for food and drinks, huh? I pray for your success, Leon. Not because I am a man of religious tendencies, mind you. It simply feels like the proper thing to do in these sort of situations. Now, is there aught you wish to ask of me? Nothing. Oh, wait, does he have something new? No. Purdy? Has my brother been behaving? And here I ask this already knowing the answer, Kupo. Yeah, exactly. It saddens me that I cannot be of any aid. You have every right to think me weak, Leon. For I am. At least now I might admit it. Yeah. Lena? I read about how you united the whole of Eorzea under a single standard and convinced the Holy See to end a 1,000-year conflict. Compared to that, asking for a few soldiers and a coffer or 3 of gil should be a piece of roll and berry cake! It's like she knows. You guys don't know what I'm talking about, but off-stream I was actually looking for roll and berry red dye, and I saw that roll and berry cake is an actual food you can buy in this game. Well, or craft, as a chef. I saw it on the market board. That was not too long ago. Ah, I suppose we should inform Boggy down at Kugane Landing of our progress. You mentioned he was to keep an eye on us. Okay. Oh shit, it's probably too late to answer now, but if you're still there, Crimson, thanks. Thanks for the help, and yeah, have a good night. I heard the sound effect of you leaving the party during the cutscene. I was like, oh shit, that's right. Yeah, I think I doubt you're here anymore, but if you are, again, thank you very much for the help. I appreciate it. Very much. And yeah, hope you have a good night. I've informed Boggy of our situation. We are ready to make for the Ruby Bazaar when you are. Fran is not too bad once you're on her good side. Her only good side being her backside, but you didn't hear that from me. Right, he already said that. Yeah. Same thing. Alright, Boggy, what's up? So you've an answer from East Aldenard already. Impressive. It would seem that Lady Fran has underestimated your influence amongst the realm's players. I assume you have no objections to me joining you then? Well, until we know if their answer is favorable or not, we can't really say if, you know, if I do have that much influence or not. But this is kind of a reminder of how big of a target I have on my back. It reminds me of my popularity in Eorzea, and it's kind of, unsettling when you stop to think about it. How many people regale me, but at the same time might want to have me dead for changing things. Whenever you are ready, Leon. Let's do it. Hancock awaits us in the bazaar. Shall we, Leon? Let's go. A lovely lady and, Benka? And here I was expecting you would be alone, Leon. Oh, sorry, yeah, I have friends. Ah, but excuse my manners. I am Hancock, a representative of the East Aldenard Trading Company assigned to oversee her assets here in Kugane. It is a pleasure to meet you. Profiting off both sides of the war. Yeah, I don't think you'll get much respect here, but I think Hancock already knows this. Yugiri and Tataru, this is a surprise. And I am Yugiri. We apologize for making you come all this way. Waifu! Not that it is far from the landing to... Tataru's like, I should just shut up. So Waifu and Tataru are here. Wagi, was it? I serve Lord Hien, rightful ruler of Doma. I have come bearing our nation's reply to your entreaty. So she's the emissary. And I am Tataru Taru of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I'm only here seeing as no one else could be bothered. Well, that and to bear a message from the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance. Thank you both for coming. I am Bwagi, formerly of the Dalmascan Royal Fusiliers. I now claim allegiance to Lance Tears, a resistance group seeking to accomplish what you have in Doma and Alamigo. What tidings have you brought us? It's good to see that the liberation of Doma and Alamigo did inspire other people to rise up against the Garleans. It's too bad that it, you know, didn't go so smoothly for other nations like Dalmasca and their leaders were killed off, but... Allow me to begin, then. While the East Aldenard Trading Company sympathizes with your plight, we are not in a position to grant you the funding you seek. I fucking knew it! I fucking knew it! You bastard! I knew Lola Rita would screw us over. As you are aware, the East Aldenard Trading Company prides itself in its neutrality, be it in matters political or personal. You call funding both sides of the war neutral. Typical capitalist, sure, yeah. And what of our relationship with the Eorzean Alliance? Ah, yes. What I meant to say was, here in Hingashi, the East Aldenard Trading Company prides itself in its neutrality, be it matters political and... You must understand our position. Simply supplying coin to any one group would make it appear that we somehow favor that group over another. Seeing as we conduct business openly and fairly with everyone, doing such would be sending the wrong message and ultimately harm profits. Yes. So that's all that matters to them. Why wouldn't it? It's the incentive. And by selling to both sides, you maximize profits while good men and women perish. How convenient! Screenshot worthy for that one, yeah. What? Don't try to intimidate her, you know she's telling the truth. Correct? We are a business, milady. We do what we must to survive. That does not mean, however, we are blind to the needs of our customers or our allies. Which is why we support the Eorzean Alliance and their noble efforts to safeguard their realm's freedom through a mutually beneficial arrangement. Right. If it were my choice, I would provide your little resistance with all the funding it needs. But as my good friend Leon knows all too well, it is not my choice. What's he getting at? Wataru? Any luck with you? Well, now that Hancock's thoroughly lowered your spirits, you won't be as crestfallen when I inform you the Eorzean Alliance will also be unable to provide any assistance. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fran was right, I guess. And let me guess, you did everything in your power to try and convince the leaders of each city-state, only to watch as they politely declined our proposal, claiming an unfortunate lack of intelligence or resources. Wait, how did you... Isn't it obvious? We can't expect much from Doma. It just got liberated. They're trying to get themselves back on their feet, right? Lord Hien sends his greetings to you and yours. Having recently found strength through a newly formed alliance with our neighboring nations, Doma is open to further welcoming like-minded organizations. This includes our Dalmascan brothers and sisters still suffering under the Imperial yoke. But... here it is. However, word has it that the latest attempt at reclaiming your kingdom ended in failure, resulting in the loss of countless lives, including many of the Resistance's leaders. Yep. You are not mistaken. Our army is not what it once was. Those remaining have been forced to take refuge deep beneath the streets of Rabanastre. The 4th Legion has already defeated you once. Lacking unity and leadership, the current resistance will not survive another tilt against the Empire's disciplined ranks. If Doma is to join hands with Dalmasca as an ally, you must first prove to us that you will stand as one. Doma as a full-fledged ally would serve far better to strengthening our cause than a few temporary soldiers. Yet, even if we were able to wrest Dalmasca from the Empire's grasp, without unity amongst your people, the resulting chaos could prove even more perilous to the kingdom. This is true. You understand much of our situation. Well, it helps that they were just in the same situation not long ago. And based on that understanding, you would refuse your aid to Lent's tears, am I correct? Do not mistake me. Lord Hien's refusal is but a message to help you plan your next step. You have a wise master. He understands that without proper planning, driving one enemy from your midst simply creates room for the next. We saw this in Alamigo, yeah? Lady Fran will no doubt be pleased to hear that your response was exactly what she expected. It was. I mean, Leon and everyone else here didn't know. We saw it as the audience. You knew this whole time that your demands would be rejected, yet still you let this farce play out? You have my apologies, but this was all unnecessary to prove an important point to our leader. Really? And what was that? Fuck happened with his hands there? You guys see that jolt? Lady Fran needed to show the princess just exactly what she was getting herself into, and your honesty today will serve us better than any hollow promise. Thank you. Why? So they played along just to show the princess, Ash, that, you know, things weren't gonna be that easy. Wait! What about the Goldmore Jungle? Oh yeah, what the fuck? Are you guys still gonna take us, or are we fucked? Shit. He's gone. Can you believe this? We're right back to where we started! Principal Genomus will not be pleased. Yeah, I don't think so. Hmm. Do you seek passage to the Prima Vista? Yes, I do. Milady. If it is as you say, it is most unfortunate. But I suppose we did everything in our power, and that is all one could ask. Still do not understand. Why would Lady Fran send Leon on this wild Isa chase? If she knew from the start, it would be for naught. Boggy mentioned something about Fran proving a point to their leader. Whomever that may be. Huh, Princess Ash. Yeah. People in positions of power can prove both naive and stubborn creatures. Simply telling a leader she is wrong may not convince her of the fact. Seeing one's own plan fail, however, is oft the best medicine. Very true. Naive and stubborn? Then the resistance is doomed! She did start off that way in FF12, yeah. If a person as imposing as Fran is taking orders from her, then chances are this leader is even worse, Koopa. I would not be so certain, Montblanc. My guess is that the individual in question is still quite young and inexperienced. She is. And that Lady Fran is trying to teach her to be an effective leader through example. Reading them like an open book, I like it. By allowing her to make her own mistakes, Fran is granting her the ability to learn and grow from them. An experience that will ultimately benefit her when the time comes to make some truly difficult decisions. Now, I seem to recall reading that one of the many faces of the resistance before the recent quelling was a young girl of royal blood. Do you suppose... You may cease with your baseless presumptions, defector. She's here! The door was open. Thanks for letting us know how you got in. Right. And you would be? I would be here on orders from the leader of Lancetiers. Against my better judgment, mind you. She's the one. Greetings. Lady Fran, I presume? I am Genomus Sen Lexentail, principal of the Majestic Theater Company. You and your colleagues are most welcome on the Prima Vista. What is it your leader would have of us? Trying to read too fast here. While you failed in meeting even a single of our demands, she recognizes that you were sincere in your attempts to see them fulfilled. And for that effort, you are to be compensated. You gonna take us to Golmore Jungle? That is most generous. So you can see her feet right there, is what I'm talking about. Those of you who are watching this in the future, just pause it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Compared to FF12 Friend, you'll have to go back in my VODs a little bit. You'll see that there was no closing of the toes there. The toes were not closed on the sandals. The ruins which you seek are hidden behind the waterfall here, a point roughly equidistant from the river's source and its delta. I'm looking at the rest of the map to see where Ravenmaster is and everything. You have our thanks, Lady Fran. We will not forget this kindness. Father, I shall plot a course immediately. What's up now? Ramza? What is going on here? Alma! You should be in bed! I've slept enough, brother. Tell me, where are our guests? It appears you once again prepare a leap into danger's maw. Keep your wits about you, Leon. Lady Fran is strong, but then again, so is Baganman. That look. If you'll excuse me. She didn't even have to make dagger eyes. And she intimidated him. She just gave him an innocent look and he still was like, oh shit. Are you mad? A trip to the surface in your condition? Listen to me, brother. The High Seraph beckons. She speaks to me through the Odious. Wait, you're in contact with her? The what? There is no need to worry. Mikoto and I have already devised a plan. I can help clear our family name. The Charlian has no say in this. I am your father and I insist you remain here on the airship. What would your mother say if I allowed aught to befall you? Mother? That is what this is all about, isn't it? What it has always been about. You care not about Ivalice or the Oran name. No, you only seek to use the Arasite to bring Mother back. Oh shit. Excuse me. Busted? Yes, no? Almost got hiccups there. But you haven't been able to do that. You still do not understand how exactly it is that the shards translate one's desires into reality. That is where I can help. I can ask the High Seraph. It is she who created the Arasite. Ultima has bid me come to her place of imprisonment. If we free her, she will reveal unto us the secrets of her creations. Do you hear what you are saying, Alma? Even if there was the slightest chance of bringing Mother back, we cannot risk your life in doing so. Your brother is right. We have sacrificed too much already. I cannot bear the thought of losing you. Either of you. It is too late. Oh shit, that's fucking nightmare fuel. That actually did give me a little bit of chills. I forgot when it happened, so it caught me off guard. I'm so lonely, father. Why must you love Ramza more than you do me? Ominous voice. Do not be cozened by your daughter's words, for they are not her own. Her own, sorry. Shit! Help me, Rams. Alma! I'm losing my voice. Too many reading. I'm losing my voice. No! No! Gods forfend. Now you know what we're dealing with, friend. I told you. No one can control the power within those shards. No one. Leon! Here, take this. It might be the only thing that can save Alma, but we must hurry to the monastery. We leave for the Golmor jungle. Now. Right. Well, it seems like we've received an invitation from you-know-who herself. I have good news and bad news, Leon. The bad news is that it appears the High Seraph was able to employ the Odious as a catalyst to propel her magics beyond whatever seal she is trapped behind. The good news is, this means my device should function as intended. Its design is based off of one of Moonbrida's. That's why it looks so similar. Like, the actual staff Moonbrida... Well, Urianger gave me Moonbrida's actual staff, didn't I use that against Fordola? I'm guessing this is something similar, right? It repurposes the logic behind her etheric siphon into a means of disrupting ether flow by reversing common wavelengths, and let us just say it has already been calibrated to match the energy emitted by the Odious. As long as Ultima continues to wield the Odious, we should be able to interfere. But it only works if we can find Alma, which is why we must make haste. Right. Jesus Christ. Not blank? What do we do? What do we do? We cannot just leave poor Alma to become one of those monsters, Koopa. You're right, we're gonna save her. No matter what it takes. I cannot believe what I just witnessed. I won't believe it. I won't. There. It didn't happen. Sure. Keep telling yourself that, Lena. You console Lena Mirala. I've been such a fool. And now I've lost my daughter. Will you ever forgive me, Tia? Hardy, what's your take on this? I think we saw enough to prove that Ultima is no angel, Kupo. But if she's not, then what is she? Well, she's not an angel of the good kind. You'd say it that way. Friend. She's only slightly taller than me. Yeah. Was the power I sensed beyond the rift, was that the High Seraph? Mm-hmm. You fought a version of her in FF12, but, you know, that's obviously not canon to this. Again, it's not a crossover, it's an adaptation of the story. They sort of meshed together FF Tactics in 12 and then adapted it to FF14's lore. And here we are. Here we are. I told her this was a mistake, and now look what has happened. If you were wise, you'd toss all the remaining shards into Hell's Lid and cut your losses. The volcano? But you've no more wisdom than Beganon, and that's why the High Seraph has already won. Damn, Boggy, have some faith, man! Jesus! Also, yeah, now I can actually show you better. Down there. See what I mean? The closed toes? But they look like sort of claws coming out of her toenails or something. Yeah, if you go back and look at FF12, those aren't there, and it's actual claw toenails coming out of her toes. They're shaped very differently. Have I your permission to depart, Leon? Every moment we tarry here, my sister, she... Of course, Ramza. Let's go. And hold on, I've set engines to full speed. Are there seatbelts on this motherfucking place, or are we just gonna go? The high heels that Vieras have by default. Welcome to the land of my people. To be a poor life, I said I did not miss it some. That's true. Hell, you even encouraged another of our fellow Viera not to leave. Alma! Oh shit! Ramza, help me. She's baiting us. Oh shit! Alma! Get her, man, you got this! Use both hands, you fool! Leon, do something! Be gone! It worked! I had to. Ramza! It was a perfect time for that. Blood of the Invokers, fulfill the ancient covenant and grant unto me the vessel promised. Yeah, this is playing out a lot like the original story. Oh shit, now him. God damn it! What just... Woggy, to me, the girl is not well. He's still got his little axe. Might I suggest we continue this back at the Prima Vista, Kupo? Yeah, I think we came underprepared. Get the hell out of here. Ramza, have you the courage to face true evil? Not gonna be my first time, buddy. What are you gawping at? The ship is this way, Koopa! Yeah, it was just, shut up, Mumbai. I'm coming, damn it, I'm coming. So that was Ramza as we remembered him from Tactics, but wearing his last outfit he had before the end of the game, which was my least favorite, honestly. I preferred the one he had as a mercenary, but it doesn't look too bad in this game, but in that game it just looked kind of odd. I don't know. It still looks funky. Still kind of prefer the purple one, you know? Poor Ramza whisked away from under our very whiskers. What poor companions we make, Koopa. A poor companion would be one who sat around and whimpered while others worked to find a solution to their troubles, Koopa. We must act! For Ramza! For Dalmasca! Yeah, I heard he knows what he's talking about. Oh, it's a joint conversation. Okay, good. Right. Yeah, just checking, just checking. First Alma and now Ramza? What does this Ultima want? All of us dead, I'm guessing, at some point. The device should have worked. Is Ramza gone because of an error in my calculations? Don't feel bad, Mikoto, you were doing your best. If a magic rift was necessary to seize Ramza, then it is quite possible that Ultima is still incapable of traveling beyond the bounds of the Orban Monastery. However, if Arasite is all the High Seraph requires to do so, then we are in grave danger. Very much so. I will not see the same fate that befell Bagamnon befall young Ramza. We must do something. And quick. Artemis? Now Ramza's gone? Oh, dearest Tia, what have I done? What have I done? Calm yourself now. You want to save your kids? Do something. City of Lost Angels. La Ciudad de los Ángeles Perdidos. We need to do something. But what recourse is left to us? The only means we had of protecting ourselves could not even prevent my son from... I am sorry, Genimus. My design was... flawed. Not necessarily, Charlian. We all saw how it succeeded in drawing Alma back from the rift and shattering the Otius. The loss of the boy is not yours to bear. Yeah, we all did our best. Our focus here should not be on our failures, but what we have learned from them. The being beyond the rift, it spoke before claiming Ramza. It referred to you as the blood of its invokers. Could it be your ancestors are responsible for Ultima's summoning? Most certainly not! I have discovered no such inference anywhere in the Durai papers. Besides, tales of the High Seraph existed far before even the earliest of Evolution legends. Really? And who exactly did summon Ultima, and why does she think them your kin? Look! I have a bad feeling about this, Kupo. Look at that. The echo for the R site. Ramza dead? You lie about as well as you carry yourself in battle, Orin. Hey, there he is. I did not say he was dead, my Lord Delita. Merely that he had abandoned his mortal vessel, trusting his ethereal soul to the R site. Yep. He looks exactly the same, too. But why would he do such a thing? Peace has finally come to Evilis. There is naught to be had from further sacrifice. The kingdom is won, and this victory is as much his as it is mine. He risked life and limb to shield me from the dark that would have seen me perish. Without him, I would not be standing here before you. It is my duty as both king and colleague to see him saved. Knights, to me! We ride for Orban! My lord, wait! Ajora Glabedos, first of the Zodiac Braves, was not the hero the Church would have you believe. He betrayed Mother Hydaelyn for the promise of coin and power, summoning forth a terrible evil from the depths of the celestial abyss. It was believed only one of the land's chosen, only a warrior of light, might stand against this threat. Yet, while victorious in battle, Ramza was unable to see the darkness vanquished. If failure was all that awaited our warrior of light, then what chance do you presume any other might stand? I see, so Ramza was one of my predecessors then. Makes sense. In this version of the story, yeah. It makes sense. Are you saying I should do nothing then? No, my lord. Ramza is. My brother's final wish before he surrendered to the Ether was that his name be struck from the annals of history. Alma, you're unhurt! But I was led to believe none but Orin returned from Orban. What is this you speak of your brother's wishes? Yeah, Alma was used as Ultima's vessel back then. When it became apparent that we were powerless to truly defeat the High Seraph, we chose the only path left to us, to do what Hydaelyn herself did countless centuries past. Imprison Ultima. There's a deviation. And as you are aware, my lord, a prison is only as strong as the seal on its gates. Ramza sacrificed his body to ensure that the Angel of Blood would never again walk the land. And he believed that if people knew of this sacrifice, it would only inspire them to seek out the holy stones and repeat the mistakes of those come before. The smart kid, Ramza. That's probably exactly what would have happened, yeah. If you truly avouch yourself his friend, then you will honor this, his final plea. Man, that'll be hard on her. No! Ramza should not be forgotten. He should be raised up as a hero for his deeds and claim his rightful place at my side. Only he might be my knight gallant. He is gone, my lord. Also, I'm worried about the fact that only they made it back. But what about everyone else that was with Ramza in the end? Agrius? Thunder God Sid? Mustadia? Before Ramza was your friend, before he was my brother, he was a warrior of light. He did what he did for Hydaelyn and for those who would one day, too, heed the crystal's call. And Orin is, of course, Thunder God Sid's, son. He did it for me, then? Those who would one day heed the crystal's call, like in the future? Shit! There he is! Claim the throne, my friend. Become ruler of Evil East and restore peace to this war-torn realm once and for all. Wait, Ramza! Don't leave me! Please! I beg of you! You will make a fine and just king, Delina. See you did not stray from that path. Give him a smile. Ramza! So they split it in two. The stones in these two necklaces. You are certain they will guide the heroes of a new era to Ramza? So they made a time capsule out of them. 'Tis what Ramza wished, my lord. Orin, I do not believe I can bear another farewell this day. Will you not reconsider my offer to remain as a member of my court? 'Tis but a matter of time before the Cardinal and his temple knights grow wise to my past. I would not have my presence here implicate you as well. For the good of the future of your kingdom, Delita. Sorry. The path of a hero can often be lonely. Ramza beseeched me strike his name from history, but like you, my lord, I could not bear the thought of future generations blind to the truth. As such, I penned this chronicle of the hero's journeys. I fear the world, however, is not yet ready for the gospel contained within these pages, nor would the Church ever allow its circulation. In fact, I believe they will confiscate every existing copy and lock them away in their library. That's how that faceless scholar in the intro for FF Tactics finds it, right? A story that was hidden by the Church, but one day just suddenly released to the public out of nowhere. Or something like that, right? And that's how the game begins. And what better way for the words to remain forever preserved than in one of the most highly guarded vaults in all the realm? Then, one day, when the Church has fallen out of favor, the chronicle will be discovered and truth shall prevail. Yeah, that. I must admit, your plan is intriguing, Orin. But once the Church learns it was you who penned the chronicle, your life... I think he knows. Wait, really? Them two? Together? Never saw that coming. Now the leader realizes, he's like, oh, I see. That's the way it is. Oh. So they hooked up Orin and Alma, and Alma's pregnant. Interesting. Leon! I'm alright. Just, you know. It was the Echo, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Interesting pairing. The removal of Ramza's name from the history books, the Durai papers, the pendants, it was all set in motion by Orin himself. And if the Liberator's visions are to be taken as fact, it also appears we now know what the High Seraph meant by blood of my invoker. Yep. Because Alma and Ramza were siblings, so Alma's kids are basically your grandparents, or basically they're, you know, you're descendants of Alma, which is, you know, obviously that means you're descendants of Ramza. And that means Ultima wants you dead. Now it all makes sense. She was not speaking of ancestors in the sense of actual kin, but the line of those chosen by Hydaelyn to serve her as warriors of light. See that too, actually, yeah. But then why abduct Ramza? Or even Alma? Unless there's something you haven't been telling us. She was using us to lure Leon. It is his vessel the High Seraph desires. What? Matron's teats, Alma. How long have you been awake? Matron's teats? The fuck? I'm gonna use that now. The hell of a saying. Oh, I miss my voice. Okay, so I got it wrong. So it wasn't really the lineage. Well, then why would they make a point of showing that Alma was pregnant? It doesn't make any sense. There has to be some other connection. But still, what they said makes sense too. Ramza's lineage as a warrior of light, that would mean Ultima means me. Being a warrior of light, like him. I've been a fool. I told our leader that it did not matter if our request for aid was refused, for I had an alternative ploy. Really? General! He's like, shut up! You're not supposed to say anything! 'Tis alright, Boggy. My intention was to claim one of these Arasite in the name of the Resistance and use its power to lay waste to the Garlean occupants. Only now do I realize how flawed my ambitions were. Because you realize it'll just turn you into a monster and you'll destroy everything, right? You mean this whole time you were playing us for fools? Why didn't we see it earlier? Never trust a woman with ears longer than mine, I always say. Oh shit, them's fighting words! The Catgirl versus Vieira war is on. Shots fucking fired right here by Lena. You bastard! I think that actually might be a thing, isn't it? I don't know. At least Fran was just like, whatever. I don't know though. I see YouTube videos where people are like, Catgirl supremacy! I think it's not really a war between Catgirls and Vieira, it's kind of a free-for-all. Between all the races. You gotta love FF14's fans, right? They keep it interesting. The culture is very funny. Wholesome, but at the same time very funny at the same time. I'm repeating myself. You've every right to be angry, and I apologize for misleading you. But believe me, I no longer have any desire to deceive you and yours. I shall see you to the Orban Monastery and ask naught in return but that you let me join you in your rescue of Ramza. How you want to help? Okay. Shit. Do not misunderstand me. I do not do this for any one of you. I do it for my people in both Golmor and Rabanastre. People who may die if this High Seraph is allowed to return to power. Mutual interests, basically. You want to kill Ultima as badly as we do. Not for the sake of our people, but for yours. So why not ally ourselves? Fair enough, fair enough. You're right, brother. We must do something. Or, might you have any suggestions, Papa? We must do what Muggles do best. Dance! Dance, I say! I actually have dancing notes on this one. Alright, let's dance. And of course, the bee's knees. So I heard the little wink is only for female characters when you do that dance, by the way. Let me see if that's true. Give us your best bee's knees, Leon. What do you got? Watch his face. Hold on. From this angle, we can see. It's true! The wink only happens with female characters. Yeah. Alright. Anyway. Hi, Seraph? Ha! You've defeated tougher opponents on both Aldenard and Althard. Ultima will rue the day she rose up against the one and only warrior of light. She will. Won't she, Leon? Of course, you can count on me. We'll take her out. This is all my fault. I was convinced it was Ramza and my father who were bedeviled by the Arasite. When in fact it was me all along. Yeah. You are wrong, Alma. The Arasite held no power over you. It never did. Your concern for your family was justified, for they allowed their desires to cloud their own judgment. You needn't blame yourself for matters beyond your control. But what of Ramza? He's gone because he tried to save me. Please, Leon, you must bring back my brother. I don't know what I would do if I lost him too. If your vision is true, then not even the Zodiac Braves, warriors of light themselves, could defeat the High Seraph. Are you certain we should not just allow Ramza's seal to endure? No. That would mean abandoning Ramza. But then what options are left us? What's your guys' take on this? I will not see the same fate that befall young Ramza. We must do something, and quick. That's what he said before. Okay, Fran? It was never my intention to deceive you. Alright. It was not. Until it was. But you must understand that I was only thinking of my people. I have not once held you as an enemy, only as an obstacle. Oh yeah, that makes it all better. And now that I know that to be false, I hope we can work together to save the land from the terrible evil that draws ever nearer. Right, first this, then the Garleans. One day, friend. One day. It pains me as a father that I am powerless to save my own son. Leon, I have asked much of you these past moons, but naught is more important than what I ask you now. Please, find Ramza. You can count on me. Let's do it. I'm thinking it's this way, right? No. Is it? Oh, yes, it is. There's so many NPCs here. I thought about talking to all of them after every story beat just to keep up with what they're doing or something, you know? Oh, we're already at the Golmore Jungle. There it is. Yeah, I thought about it, but then I was like, dude, I like their uniforms. Holy shit. They kind of look better than the than Sid's people, you know? Like Garland Ironworks engineers. Like, these guys look kind of cool. Are these outfits available on the mod station? I don't think so. But hey, we just got, you know, not long ago, we just got Lisa's, booba outfit over here. Literally just a few days ago, right? So, maybe one day, this one too. I mean, the one they're wearing, the NPCs here. Forget that image. Anyway, yeah, enter Orban Monastery, let's go. Beckoned by the Arasite, you arrive at the Orban Monastery, vestige of an ancient civilization lost beneath the twisted roots and vines of a forbidden jungle. The Durai papers claim this holy sanctuary to be where the tale of young Ramza Bale began. Tonight, it is where your tale ends. That sounds ominous as hell. I hope you mean it ends as in we win, and then we fuck off. And not that we're about to die. I'll make you proud, Ramza. Average wait time, 26 minutes. Good thing it's 10 o'clock. Alright, I'm secretly hoping this one actually takes a little bit, because I gotta rest my ass a little. It's early for me to take another break, obviously. I wasn't planning on it. But I think... There we go. OCD. Anyway, but I think, at least while we queue, I'll get up for a little bit. But don't worry, I'll still be in the room, obviously. I won't miss the queue pop. 1 second. And I have just now found the perfect song while we wait in queue. Incoming banger. Enjoy it. It's a good one. Alright, well, you might have to listen to this a bit longer than I planned. I gotta leave queue for just a second, because something came up. But I'll be back in a bit, so I won't put up the BRB screen. Actually, I will, just to not confuse anybody. But I'll be back in a sec.